Welcome to the first episode of the Knights of Lucky podcast. That is my squeaky chair in the background. And I am your host, Lucky ASMR. So this is a podcast I will be doing from now on, once a week. I'll be doing it once a week, every week, for the rest of my life, because I have now been chained to my computer. No, I'm joking. But no, I'll be doing this once a week, every week on Saturday. You know, so when you're sitting there on a boring Saturday afternoon, or morning, or night, wherever you are, depending, you can just sit back, relax, and listen to an hour of me being an idiot. I also apologize for this chair. This chair is the worst chair that's ever been made. It's a stupid metal folding chair, and it's the only chair I have. I'm trying to get a nice swivelly, comfy gaming chair, so I can play games in it and not have my neck dislocate from the rest of my spine. That's generally a good thing. Keep your head on your spine. Or attached to your spine. I don't know, I'm not a genius here, clearly. Anywho. So, I don't really know what to do. No. This is kind of just me just shooting the SHIT, as they say. But no, it's just me chilling, talking. There will be episodes just me by myself. There will also be episodes with other people. I want at some point to get some guests on, so other, voice actors, ASMR artists, just people in the voice acting ASMR field and whatnot, audio dramas. I want to get them on here on the podcast and whatnot, so we can just chill and chat and just talk about stuff. But no, yeah, it's gonna be an hour long podcast. I'm not Joe Rogan, so I can't go 5 hours. I feel like I'll probably just die. I'll just kill over, But, yeah, that's my stomach grumbling, because I haven't, had anything to eat at all today. I ate, a bucket of mandarin oranges and some toast. I just felt sad. I was like, what does it take for a guy to just get, a burrito or something, is it that hard to get a man a burrito? How much do burritos on average cost these days? That's something I wondered. What has been the price of burritos throughout human history? I'm guessing they started out as 15 cents, in the 1900s, probably. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on food or anything, but, So, kind of what I do for the podcast is, obviously at some point I'll get some guests on so we can chill and talk and chat. I'm also going to each week, at the beginning of each week, on a Monday, I'll put out a community poll or a video or something, and everybody can submit their questions, stuff they want me to talk about, topics, what's going on in the world, entertainment, what's going on in my life, just in general, whatever. And I'll also be talking about topics and stuff. Speaking of topics, Knights of the Old Republic, the greatest Star Wars game ever made. Yes, Force Unleashed fans, fight me. No, I'm joking. I'm a huge Force Unleashed fan. But, no, Knights of the Old Republic is known for being the greatest Star Wars game ever made. It's legendary. It has one of the greatest, plot twists in all of fiction. It's absolutely incredible. It created one of the greatest characters ever created in Star Wars, and brought to life many other great characters in an entirely new era of Star Wars, the Old Republic. Because for those of you who don't know what the Old Republic is, basically, the Old Republic is a era of Star Wars. That's my chair cracking. I apologize. This chair's like on its last legs, pun intended. But, no, the Old Republic is basically an era that takes place thousands upon thousands of years before the main Skywalker saga, before the prequels, the original trilogy, and the sequel films. So, basically, it takes place during a time where the Republic and the Sith Empire are just coming to blows at each other. They're just trying to kill everybody. They're waging war. There's Sith and Jedi everywhere. It's just nuts. It's crazy. And one of the greatest characters to come out of that, he's by far the best, like, EU Legends character from Star Wars, is Darth Revan. I actually literally, on my computer screen, the wallpaper is Darth Revan. And I have a Darth Revan Funko Pop right above it. But yeah, basically, he's known for being... He's probably the second greatest character in Star Wars, next to Vader. And basically, he was a male Jedi that was born somewhere in the Outer Rim. They don't know his actual name, but they just know him by Revan. And he became a Jedi and was inducted into the Jedi Order, and basically went around and started fighting and, you know, whatnot. Because what had happened was basically, spoiler alert for this game, by the way, it's like 2 decades old, so I think I think I can talk about it by now. By the way, I will be playing tons of Knights of the Old Republic, so if anybody wants to see me, like, do a walkthrough of that and some more Old Republic stuff, I'm your guy. I'll do some more of that if people want it. But yeah, basically, there were these Mandalorians. The Mandalorians are known for being this super race of, like, high-level ultra warriors and whatnot. That, you know, obviously the Mandalorian, a lot of you probably have seen the show, he is one of them. So, basically it's a race of, like, super ultra high-level warriors. They're the greatest warriors in the galaxy. And basically Revan just went out and was like, to the Jedi, was like, hey, they're killing tons of people here. They're destroying entire planets. They're raising hell in the Outer Rim. And the Jedi were like, maybe later, bro. They were like, you know, let's just put that in the waiting list. We'll get to that eventually. We gotta sit around and, you know, do meditation and yoga and whatever those space wizards do. But basically Revan was like, okay, yeah, I'm done. So he left with his apprentice Darth Malak and became Darth Revan. And he went out to look for the Starforge, which was basically this giant, like, machine that could create all kinds of, like, weapons and ships and stuff to defeat the Mandalorians. So he went out and kind of did some of that, and eventually he won the battle with the Mandalorians, became Darth Revan, but eventually, you know, it's a long story, and eventually kind of got a happy ending at the end of the game. That was the canon ending, at least, if I remember correctly. And then he went off into the unknown regions to find this great threat, which was the Sith Emperor, where he was eventually kidnapped and held in stasis for like 300 years. Then eventually he went out and basically he was so troubled mentally, especially with the Force, his body literally split in two, or at least his sides of the Force. One became the light side of the Force, and the dark side of the Force, basically took over his body. and start raising mayhem. And the light side of him basically became a Force ghost, and he was like to a bunch of people, was like, you gotta kill this guy because he's gonna destroy the galaxy. So eventually, the dark side of Revan became one with the Force, and they both became one with the Force, and he was made one with the Force, and that was his ending. But his, his lightsabers, his armor, and his iconic mask was left there in front of the temple, and those whereabouts of those items are, they disappeared apparently, so we don't know much about it. But yeah, so they're coming back and making either, I've heard it's a remake of KOTOR 1, I've heard it's a sequel, like a Knights of the Old Republic 3, but, and other info is like supposedly EA is not making it and BioWare is not making it, because BioWare, they made the original Knights of the Old Republic 1, but, it's a long story. They're an EA company, and EA just lost the exclusivity rights to Star Wars, so apparently it's going to some other studio, not EA or BioWare, so. But other than that, we don't know a whole lot. It's still kind of rumorish, but this seems like the most legit information that we've gotten about this. This seems pretty legit. It totally could be fake, obviously, take it with a grain of salt, but it seems like this is the most legit information we've gotten in ages. A lot of people are reporting on it, so take it with a grain of salt, but it seems pretty legit, so yeah, but it makes total sense why they would come back and want to make one of these again, because if you don't know, basically the Old Republic era is like one of the most beloved eras in Star Wars, and because of the new canon where it's not, the Old Republic really isn't canon anymore, even though there are a few references and stuff. For the most part, it's not canon, and they haven't really done anything with it, but it's got a cult following, me being one of them, and also, obviously, Darth Revan being the most famous character of the Old Republic. He's beloved, so it would make sense that they would want to come back to this because it's so good, but also, people want this so much, and money talks, as they say, so yeah, it's not really surprising that they would eventually come back to this, because it's so beloved and so requested, so I would not be surprised whatsoever if this did become true, It just makes total sense, because that's the thing, is there have been rumors about this since, like, 2016, I think. Because supposedly back then, EA was interested in rebooting that, or remaking it. But, over the past couple years, we haven't got a whole lot of info about it. Like I said, we've got hints in, Star Wars films and movies and games and books about stuff like the Old Republic, but nothing ever really solid or definite. Just loose references, but nothing real solid. But, yeah, that's the thing, is it's been rumored for many years now, and supposedly there's like a Knights of the Old Republic film in the works and a show, so this is still kind of rumorish, but this seems like genuinely the most legitimate info we've ever gotten on this. Like, this seems pretty legit, so to hear that this is coming back, I mean, this is, man, if this is true, this has potential to be some of the best Star Wars stuff we've ever gotten. Like, this game, if it is true, if they're coming back, it's gonna sell billions of money. Sorry for blowing out my microphone. It's going to make a ton of money if it does come back. I know I am immediately going to buy that stuff. Because Revan is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, like I've said in the past. But, yeah, I'm very, very excited to see this. I really am. What else? WandaVision. Let's talk about the MCU. What do I think? I don't think anybody asked me this, but I'll just talk about it. The MCU, I'm very excited for WandaVision. I actually have not seen any of the episodes yet, because I kind of actually want to do a reaction series to it. If anybody would want me to do, like, a reaction series to it, I'm all for it, you know? I probably need some advice, because I don't want to, like, get copyright striked, but I would love to do it, do a reaction to that, because, I've seen a lot of people really like reactions to stuff, and, just in general, that would be fun, I think, we could kind of have, like, our little, like, watch party, watch-along type thing, so, personally, I'm excited. I've heard it's very, very good. And yeah, I've heard it's absolutely fantastic. Apparently, like, Elizabeth Olsen, by the way, waifu, she's amazing. She's gorgeous, talented actor, and great person. Apparently she's like the #1 like actress on IMDb or something. It's like crazy how good this show is. And me being like a fan of like 1950s and 60s TV, I'm a huge fan, so I'm excited for this. But yeah, apparently it has a lot of ramifications for the MCU. I don't want to spoil anything because there's theories on stuff. Because I've heard theories. I don't want to spoil like those theories just in case they become true, unless people want me to. But I'm very excited for it. Personally, I'm waiting for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That is the show I am most excited for. I actually, just a couple days ago, I bought the Winter Soldier Funko Pop for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I absolutely love it because I've been wanting to get a Winter Soldier Funko Pop for ages. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, next to, obviously, Daredevil being my favorite. So yeah, that looks very, very good. And speaking of Daredevil, let's get into some other stuff. Basically, recently, about a month or so ago, the rumors broke that Daredevil, Charlie Cox, is reportedly coming back as Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in Spider-Man 3. So, that is supposedly the rumor. It's still, take it with a grain of salt, but it seems like Kevin Feige and co. have kind of teased a bit of that recently, because basically when, at the Disney's, like, investor call thing, where they talk about all their stuff, they announced all the Star Wars shows and movies, but also a bunch of MCU stuff. And one of the things they were talking about was She-Hulk. And I'm gonna adjust my mic here for a second. It was She-Hulk, and one of the things he had said is like, something along the lines of like, with a superhero lawyer like Jennifer Walters, you never know what other characters and superheroes might pop up in it. And that's kind of a big deal, because first of all, that could just be anyone, but given the fact that Jennifer Walters is a lawyer in the Marvel Universe, it's kind of clear that if there would be anyone she would run into, it would be Matt Murdock. Because if you don't know, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, is a lawyer part-time. On the other side, besides being a hero, he is a lawyer. And, She-Hulk, aka Jennifer Walters, and Daredevil, Matt Murdock, they've crossed paths many times in comics and whatnot. So, if there would literally be anybody to pop up in that show, it would be him. But supposedly he's coming in Spider-Man 3, which would make sense because we're going to talk about spoilers here for a movie that's almost 2 years old. But if you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, please mute this, click away, come back in a little bit. But spoilers for this, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. So, at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, obviously, famously, it's become iconic, the iconic ending. Basically, Mysterio releases a video that basically, he's like, after all the damage and bad supervillain stuff he did in Europe, basically he pinned all of that on Spider-Man, and he basically outed Spider-Man as Peter Parker. He was like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker to the entire world. And Spider-Man's like, what the... He, like, flips out, and it was a classic cliffhanger ending. I mean, it's become iconic. It's an iconic ending. You know, it's fantastic. Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man, next to Yuri Lowenthal from the Spider-Man PS4 game. But, yeah, basically, famously, he is now outed as Peter Parker. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So, obviously, he's going to be in a real bad way the next film, because basically, first and foremost, the entire world, first of all, knows he's Spider-Man. And the entire world now is, you know, it's like, hey, this guy caused all this damage. We need to find this guy. So, like, Interpol and, like, you know, the U.S. government and everybody, the entire world, the entire planet is going to be hunting this guy down. So now he is most likely going to be trapped in New York on the island, and it's up to him to figure out a way to basically prove his innocence while also fighting off the entire world coming at him, but also all the supervillains, because they've been setting up, obviously, the Sinister Six. This is going to be, by the way, this is just a kind of a tease for the future. This podcast is going to be a lot of me talking about nerdy stuff and entertainment and stuff going on in the world. So hopefully you all like that, because I love talking about this stuff. Mic adjustment. Excuse me. By the way, I'm sorry for kind of the poor, shoddy quality so far with my videos since I've come back. I'm currently working to get new fan art, animations, new equipment, stuff like that. So, yeah, and if you want to help me out on that, I have a Patreon. I'll link it below. If you can't donate, that's fine. But I got some free content on there. So if you can't donate, there's some free content on there for you as well. So I don't want to leave everybody, you know, left out, you know. So, but back to it. But no, basically, everybody's going to be gunning for him, and especially probably the Sinister Six, because if you don't know who the Sinister Six are, in Marvel Comics, they're kind of like one of the best, like, supervillain teams. Basically, Spider-Man routinely fights them. It's basically like 6 of his most iconic villains. And the roster kind of changes up frequently, but Dr. Octopus, you know, Dr. Otto Octavius, basically, he was known for founding that group. But they've been teasing the Sinister Six over the years, because ever since Spider-Man Homecoming, they kind of set up all those villains, because, you know, Sinister Six, well, you got 6 people you need to get. So basically, let's kind of run this down. So let's make a list of Sinister Six villains to kind of who most likely will show up. So first and foremost, we got Vulture. Adrian Toomes, basically, he was in Homecoming, and he was played amazingly by Batman himself, Michael Keaton. He was the big bad villain of, you know, Spider-Man Homecoming. Great film, by the way. One of my favorite MCU films. But basically, at the end of the film, spoiler alert, he got, you know, captured by the cops and was put in prison. But he kind of, like, he knew who Spider-Man was, but basically other villains were like, we want to know this Spider-Man guy. And basically they were like, you know, anybody who, like, doesn't give us his name, like, we'll kill you. But Toombs didn't tell him because he kind of took pity on him in a way and kind of realized, like, he's just a kid, Like, Peter Parker is just some high schooler, So, Vulture for sure. Also in that scene, Michael Mando, a.k.a. Voss from Far Cry, he popped up, and he plays Scorpion. Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, who basically was a petty thief and whatnot, who basically goes around in, like, this super cool, like, cyborg mech, Scorpion suit. So he was in that, so it seems like they're setting up him as well. Also in that film, they had, maybe, we'll kind of go down the list of most likely, then kind of more least likely, but at least people that were in. The Shocker, he was another one. I cannot remember his name. But the Shocker, basically, he is a guy who has these, like, cool, like, mech gauntlets that can punch and shoot lightning and stuff. He was in Spider-Man PS4 as well, but the thing, a really cool, like, Easter egg about it is the gloves he uses in Homecoming are actually Crossbones' gloves from Civil War. The ones where he fought Captain America and Lagos. Those were, like, some tricked out versions of those. Those were his gauntlets. A little cool Easter egg. So, also in Homecoming, they have the Tinkerer. He is basically a guy he's a famous Spider-Man villain who basically creates all their technology and stuff. So he was in that as well. Then going to whatchamacallit, Far From Home, we had basically, what's his name? Oh yeah, Mysterio. Woo-hoo. Basically played amazingly by Jake Gyllenhaal. He's famously why can I not remember their names this time? I'm usually very good with this stuff. Crap, I can't remember his name. But basically Mysterio, he's one of Spider-Man's most famous villains. Basically he is just a dude who used to work in, like, film and special effects, who uses, like, practical effects and illusions to fight Spider-Man. He was in that. Also, another guy who was in that was Chameleon. That's my gut again. Sorry. I'm pretty sure I spelled chameleon wrong. I don't think that's how you spell it. But he was in that. And a really cool thing is the Chameleon's, like, stepbrother is actually, what's his name? Why can I not remember these names? Kraven. Basically, Kraven, who is a famous Spider-Man villain who basically hunts people and animals around the world. So he was in that as well, so he could pop up. Also, since they're bringing stuff back in, we have recently some announcements that, what's his name? Crap. So we could put Kraven probably as a maybe, because Sony's Marvel stuff isn't connected with the MCU's Marvel stuff. They're both two different universes. But they've said that there are plans to cross over. So we also have Morbius, the living vampire. He's basically, obviously, a vampire. He's basically a world-famous doctor that tried to, like, cure his disease, but became kind of like a vampire instead. So that guy then, and this is kind of wacko and crazy. This film is getting nuts, by the way, because recently we had the info that Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, Andrew Garfield, and Emma Stone are all coming back. Both of their versions of Spider-Man, and Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane Watson. So reportedly they're coming back to cross over, which is freaking insane. Can you imagine seeing all three of these guys on the same screen? That film will make more money than God as, what's his name? It was the dude from, what's it called? GoldenEye. It was Sean Bean from GoldenEye. At the end of this, we'll be more richer than God. And whatnot. That was one of his famous quotes from that film. Great film, by the way. He was an amazing villain in that. Sean Bean is fantastic in everything he is in. Sadly, he dies so much on screen. He's just constantly biting the dust, man. But yeah, we had the recent announcement that crazy. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is supposedly coming back, while also Jamie Foxx's Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming back. So, whew, that's a lot of villains. So, but also you have like Venom as well. Venom and Carnage. So at this point, we have no idea who's going to pop up. But the ones I would say 100% for sure are Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio, maybe Chameleon. I think they put him in there for a reason. Marvel does all this stuff for a reason, so I wouldn't be surprised if they, put him in, because he's already in. Morbius, because they're crossing over, wouldn't be surprised there. I would say probably the most likely is Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio, Doc Ock, and Electro, and Morbius. I would say that's probably the most likely. I would say, because you get kind of one from every franchise. You get Dr. Octopus, who's from obviously the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Electro, who is from the Amazing Spider-Man films. Then Morbius, who is from the new Sony Marvel universe and whatnot. Then you have the three villains, obviously, from the MCU, Vulture, Scorpion, and Mysterio. That would be my list, but like I said, they could bring any of these guys in. So I don't know. That's the thing, is like, I don't know if they're going to do a Spider-Verse live-action film. Like Spider-Man 3 will be a live-action film. I don't know if they're all going to do a lot of that stuff, because this is kind of getting crazy. Because like I said, we have basically Tom Holland Spider-Man and all of his characters. Then you got all of his villains, Mysterio, Vulture, Scorpion, and possibly others. Then you have Doc Ock, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Then you have Electro, then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy. Then possibly like Morbius and like Venom, and it's like there's so many different characters and things. Ugh, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna open this up. Loud noises. It's a bag of these spice drop things. Hold on, let me do. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do when it comes to like those like weird sound audios. I do like roleplay drama ones. I do not do those like sound ones. But I guess if anybody wants me to do a couple of those, sure, I can. I don't do them though. Sorry, I had to get a little snack there. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, because that's a lot of characters, and we all know when Sony tries to meddle in any any third Spider-Man film, it doesn't exactly end well. So, who knows? But, the prospect that Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil is exciting to me. I have a Charlie Cox Daredevil season 1 and early season 2 action figure, because I'm a dork. As you know, I'm the biggest Daredevil fan on the entire face of the earth. And I grew up on Netflix's Daredevil and Netflix's Daredevil films. So with the announcement that it's been rumored that he is coming back, while also Kevin Feige teasing with the whole She-Hulk thing, but also he said recently that like something along the lines of like the Defenders characters aren't off the table to bring into the MCU. Like, it's totally fair game. They can possibly bring them in. And he said, I quote, when regarding like Daredevil and stuff like that, he said like, we'll see. So, which would make sense, because first of all, to explain the whole thing is like, for those of you who don't know, basically, originally when the MCU started out, and they started making films, Netflix got the rights back to some Marvel characters, and they were basically like, we want to do some stuff with this. So it was under the Marvel banner. Marvel got the rights back, but it was in a completely like different section of Marvel, I mean, not Marvel Studios. It was just some other thing, like Marvel Television, I think was what it was called. So it wasn't technically connected to the MCU. But when they started releasing these things, and they were like, this will kind of cross over with the MCU and the MCU films, but they made plenty of references and teases, but eventually somewhere along the line, they were like, yeah, Netflix and Marvel were like, yeah, we're not going to cross over. So they stopped doing that stuff. Then eventually Netflix stopped making those shows, unfortunately, and now the rights to these characters are going back to Marvel. So these characters are kind of like, it's never been truly confirmed by Kevin Feige, the main guy who controls the MCU and makes it and stuff. It's never been technically 100% confirmed that these characters are in the MCU, but the references they have made in those shows directly reference the MCU. They directly reference the Battle of New York from the Avengers 2012. You know, they directly reference that. They referenced Thor and... Ugh, my stomach. I'm so hungry. I'm sorry. They basically referenced... Hold on, I need to take something. But if you can still hear me... They directly reference stuff like that. And, you know, eventually they wanted to do that stuff, but they never really got around to it. It just kind of fizzled out. They never really did anything with it, unfortunately. And it kind of sucks. Because those characters and shows were extremely well beloved. Especially Netflix's Daredevil, which is, it's widely known for being the greatest superhero show ever made, and it still is. It had 3 glorious... I'm sorry, this chair is unbelievable. Do they have squeak-proof chairs? I want one. But no, so it's not quite sure if they're canon or in the MCU. But it's never been, like, explicitly, like, denied or confirmed. You know, it's kind of just in this weird, like, purgatory limbo. But the prospect for these characters coming back is exciting because, like I said, these shows were so beloved. And the casting for the characters was so spot on. Specifically, Charlie Cox as Daredevil and, obviously, John Bernthal as the Punisher. The casting for both of those characters was perfect. They have become the definitive version of those characters. You know, and especially Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock / Daredevil. There is no one else you can get to play that guy. He is Daredevil. You know, when you think of Daredevil, you imagine Charlie Cox in your head. And he, you know, they have such a loyal fan base for the show, and it's one of my favorite shows ever made, and I love it so much. I swear, if they bring this guy in, which I think is, at this point, it's probably pretty likely, I'm gonna cry. I'm not even gonna joke. Like, if I ever see him in one of the trailers or in the film, I'm gonna break down, because it's like, he means so much to me as a character, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, the prospect for getting these characters back is very exciting, because so many people love these characters, and they have become the definitive version of these characters. Charlie Cox, he is Daredevil. Charlie Cox is to Daredevil what, Robert Downey Jr. is to Iron Man, what, Chris Evans is to Captain America, what Hugh Jackman is to the Wolverine, what Christopher Reeve is to Superman. He is that guy. He is Daredevil. So the idea that he could come back and actually officially with, the other Defenders characters be in the MCU, that's exciting. But also him crossing over with Spider-Man in a live-action film, Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Charlie Cox's Daredevil, that's fudging nuts. It's fudging nuts. I gotta, yeah, I don't want to say that. It's fudging nuts. It's crazy, though. It really is. So to see him, actually in a Spider-Man film crossover, the amount of money that would be made it's unimaginable. The amount of money bringing him in and putting him in a film and bringing him back to the MCU, it's crazy. And that's the reason why I think it's pretty likely, is because I think Kevin Feige and co. at Marvel realize, even though they might not treat those shows as canon and like them, I think they realize that, they really, really, really love these characters. And it would be foolish for us to not bring them back in, because it's money talks, obviously. So they realized, we could make an absurd amount of money off this. So I think it's very likely that they could. Look at spoilers for The Mandalorian Season 2. They brought back Boba Fett. Boba Fett is alive because people had wanted to bring him into Star Wars for ages now. He has such a loyal fan base and following. Same with Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker, they love those characters so much that eventually they realized, we can make a ton of money off this. We'd be stupid not to. So they brought him back. So it would make total sense why they would bring these characters back. It would be dumb for them not to, because they would make so much money. But, yeah, I think the MCU is very exciting. I'm very excited. I love this, franchise. It's absolutely amazing. I am so glad that I grew up at just the right time for this, It's been said that the MCU is our generation, this generation's Star Wars. Our parents and, mothers and fathers and whatnot, they grew up on Star Wars. They watched Star Wars. They loved it. And, it became their thing. And now with MCU, we've grown up with it. We're growing up with the MCU. So I'm so glad, honestly, to have been born at just the right time to get into this. Because, if I ever do become a dad, these are the films, I'd sit down with my kids and be like, this is what I watched when I was a kid. This is the films that I got into. This is what I was a part of, So, yeah, I love this franchise, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. But the prospect of all those announcements is very exciting. So, I think we've talked enough about nerdy news and entertainment. But like I said, I think what I'm going to do is half the podcast will be, the first half of the podcast will be talking about topics, things that are going on in the world, entertainment stuff, movies, shows, games, whatever. Then the other half will be submitting questions and stuff. And me answering questions and talking about things you want me to talk about. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's read some questions. If I can open my phone, which is a piece of... My phone is literally like in the top left corner of it. It's broken. It looks like somebody, like a really hungry person, woke up in the middle of the night and thought it was like a chocolate bar and like bit into it way too hard. And now they're like missing teeth and my phone is broken. That's why my like phone, its camera is so crappy, is because it broke. But, yeah. I'm very excited. So, I'm going to get another one of these because I like these. Alrighty. By the way, I just wanted to say, thank you all for being patient with me. By the way, to all my Patreon subscribers, today I'll be releasing a short blooper reel for the week. And by the way, I want to thank them for their patience, because this week I've been getting my schedule worked out, and officially starting on Tuesday next week, my schedule will be complete, and now I can do all the stuff again. It's been kind of wonky. I haven't put out some stuff because I've been reworking my schedule to fix all of it and stuff, so I apologize. I don't have a lot of time to record, so I have to work around things and whatnot, so thank you for your patience. But starting Tuesday next week, everything will be normal. It'll be back to normal. So, by the way, before I do that, I'll announce my my schedule now. Is on Tuesday, I will be releasing an early access on Patreon. I'll be releasing the main audio in early access. I'll be releasing another exclusive audio on there. Then, and that's on Patreon for Tuesday. Then on Thursday, I will officially release that video, the one I kept for early access on Patreon. I'll also be doing another early access for the official video on Saturday on there on Patreon. But I'll officially release that video on Thursday on YouTube for free. Then I will also, besides the early access, I'll be putting out another exclusive audio. Then on Saturday, I will officially release that audio on YouTube, and I will release a podcast there on YouTube. If I can, I'm gonna try and see if I can release the podcast on early access on my Patreon. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit that video in, because there's like a certain amount of, like, I don't know, what do they call it, like megabytes or gigabytes or whatever that you can put in. So I don't know if I'm going to have enough space, like it's going to fit in, but I'll try. But I'll release the podcast on YouTube for free on Saturday, and also on Saturday I'll be putting out a weekly short blooper reel. Just a quick little funny, blooper reel of all the bloopers I had, this week recording and whatnot. So that's my schedule. So yeah. I'll be trying to figure out what I can do on Ko-Fi. I haven't figured that stuff out yet. Submit ideas for content, you would like me to see for doing, like, stuff like that for Ko-Fi. If anybody has any ideas, I'm new to this still. But, yeah, I just want to thank my Patreon donors for being so generous and patient and kind and calm with me while I've been, out of the hospital and also reworking my schedule. I apologize for all that. Again, I apologize. I will message you later so I can give you a cool special reward to thank you for your patience and whatnot. And also kind of an apology for me not posting, as I normally do this week while I was rescheduling. So I apologize, but thank you. So now getting into the questions. Let's read some questions, shall we? Okay. Let's see. Am I actually named Lucky? No, I am not. That's just kind of like my channel name. That was funny when I was coming up with that. Like, I originally didn't have like because I kind of wanted, like, I don't obviously want to say my real name and whatnot. But you know, I kind of want to be like, I don't want to use my name. Like, I kind of want to like make a character, sort of like a fictionalized version. You know, like other people have their accounts and whatnot. They're like Teacup Audio. Her nickname is T, you know. So, kind of like that. I was like, I'd kind of like my own little cool nickname and whatnot. So, I went and started... I literally opened up a dictionary of words to look through. You know, to see like, what would be a cool channel name or like a nickname for me. I read through that, didn't find a single thing. Then I was like, I'll look through my music. Maybe I can figure something out. And I was looking through my music and, you know, I had found a song. And it was, it said Lucky. The name of the song was Lucky and whatnot. And I was like, that's it. I immediately knew, like, that's it. That's the one. That is the name. And I was like, that's the perfect nickname. Lucky. Lucky ASMR. It's perfect. Like, it just worked, you know? Like, it just felt right, you know? It just sounded right. It was just like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't really describe it. It's just like, it's right. It's just, it was destined to happen. And ever since then, I've been called Lucky because of that. But also kind of another reason that also kind of fit nicely is I'm Irish. I'm very Irish. My dad's side is Irish. A lot of them are redheads. I'm a bit of a redhead. I'm a combination of brown. My hair is a combination of brown and kind of red. Like, if you look at it, it's like brown, but it's got a lot of red in it, too. So, I'm a redhead, too. But, yeah, that's how I got the nickname. And, no, that's not my real name. But, you know. What else? What's your most embarrassing crush? I don't know. My most embarrassing crush. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't really know, like, what my first crush was. I don't know, actually. Like, I can't really remember. I'm sure I had crushes, but, like, I can't remember, honestly. Like, what my crush was. You know, when I was younger and whatnot. I can tell you my crush now, it is Ana de Armas. You know, the actress. Very, very great actress. She's absolutely fantastic. She was amazing in Knives Out, by the way. And she's going to be in the next James Bond film, which excites me because, you know, I love James Bond and she's a great actress, but she's my crush now. That's all I can come up with, really. I can't honestly, I'm not just saying this so I don't have to say anything. I honestly cannot think of a single crush. You know? But, yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna fix something. Boop. There we go. I really have the worst quality equipment. Oh, good lord. I have the worst equipment ever. It sucks. Oh well. I'm using like an old pair of headphones, my Blue Yeti mic. And I literally have my Blue Yeti mic standing on my notebook. That's how, like, low quality this is. But, do I ever feel uncomfortable doing what I do? Not too much. Not really. I like voice acting and whatnot, and I've always liked it, and people really like voice acting, and apparently my channel for some odd reason. So, not really. Not too much. I just like doing it, having fun, so I joke, I goof around, so honestly, it's not really that big of a deal for me. If I could be any character from any anime, game, movie, who would I want to be? Deku. I would want Deku's powers from My Hero Academia. I would love to be the guy who has All for One. I would love to have Deku's powers, basically. I love him as a character. I have a Funko Pop of him. I have a lot of Deku stuff. He's my favorite character from My Hero Academia, by the way. But yeah, I'd want to be him. I'd want his powers. He's just the coolest. All for One, you know. It's amazing. What were my favorite shows growing up? Ben 10, the original Teen Titans show. That was great. Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, shows like that, honestly. The Clone Wars, that's another big one. I love the Clone Wars. Yeah, those are some of my favorite shows, honestly. I grew up on that stuff, so I have a soft spot for 2000s stuff, you know. What's my favorite anime? My Hero Academia. It's amazing, you know. What is your opinion on LGBTQ? Yeah, I support it, honestly. I support the LGBTQ community. Always have and always will, you know. Just, you know, people should be allowed to love who they want, you know. They really do. To, you know, love who they want and do whatever they want, you know. Everybody deserves that right, you know. So, you know, like, I support them. Always have. You know, that's why I like making a lot of that content on here. So, I include everybody. So, you know, nobody feels left out. So, yeah, I support the community. Always have and always will, you know. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. What other questions can I find? Summer or winter? Summer. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love winter. I love Christmas time. But, like, I don't know, man. Summer's nice. The only problem is, like, summer is hot. Especially here in, like, where I live. It gets really hot. It's funny. It's like, it gets really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter. It's just brutal. It's actually, like, I think it's raining or snowing out right now. What are my dreams and goals? What are my dreams and goals? I really want to become a voice actor, obviously. That's why I'm, you know, obviously doing this thing. Podcasting, voice acting, ASMR, stuff like that. So, that's why I do this stuff, you know? I like doing it. I would love to become a professional one someday. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people have, you know, started out like this and they got, you know, jobs and stuff and they're voice actors. So, like, you know, gotta start somewhere. So, for me, I would say, yeah, that's probably my goal. I would like to become a professional voice actor for movies, games, shows, anime, etc. How do you cope when things turn sour? Just when things get bad in life. my logic, my philosophy, I always say, is do whatever you gotta do to get you through it. Whether that's playing movies, playing games, watching movies, TV, anime, you know, doing your favorite hobbies, you know, drawing, hunting, fishing, you know, cosplaying, whatever, you know. Hang out with your family, friends, loved ones, your dog, cat, fish, pet, whatever pet you have, and whatnot, and just do whatever you gotta do to get through it, you know. Just do little things like that, you know. Distract yourself, watch TV, play games, you know, just do what you gotta do to get through it, obviously. Nothing bad, obviously. But just, you know, do things like that, you know. Stuff that makes you happy, basically, and that'll help get you through it. It's gotten, you know, me through it over the years, so it's worked out so far. Holy crap, this person put out a lot of questions. Do you watch any other anime? I've watched Attack on Titan, Yuri on Ice, that's a fantastic one. Akame ga Kill, I love that show. It's hilarious and absolutely depressing. 7 Deadly Sins, that's fantastic. And what have I been watching? Ah, crap, I just forgot about it. I've been watching a lot of it lately. Oh, yeah, it's depressing as heck. Re:Zero, if you've heard of it. That is the saddest thing I have ever watched. I remember I cried like every episode. Like, I'm not really gonna spoil anything, but the saddest moments of the show, you know what the hell, I'll just spoil it. Season 1, spoilers. When Rem kills him, he was just like, I just started to like all you. I just wanted to be friends and be happy and all that. And she just kills the guy, slits his throat. This is rough and whatnot. And the time where he had woken up and figured out that like his progress or so wasn't saved, and you know, he just like was like, why don't we go on like kind of on a date into town, Amelia, and whatnot. And she was like, all right, we can do that. And he was so excited, and he went to sleep and woke up, and all of that progress never even happened, and he lost his mind. And I just started bawling, just bawling. It just crushed me. Like, and I remember I was watching it in the living room, and I was just bawling my head off because of this one different scene. I was just crying and bawling my head off, and my mom was like, she saw me like sobbing my heart out, and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, it's too sad. But man, just a warning, that show is rough, because that show will mess you up like you can't even imagine. That show will destroy you. I'm not kidding. It's brutal. It's brutal, man. It is so rough. It's the most depressing show I've ever seen. I'm just gonna say it. It is not an easy show to get through, basically. But yeah, that's what I've been watching lately, anime-wise. My favorite animal, Charlie, if you can count him, my dog. Golden Labrador Retriever. He's my favorite animal in the world. I love the guy. Favorite character I've played in my videos. That's a good point, actually. I'd probably say Tsundere. God. I really need to eat. I probably should have ate before I did this podcast. Yeah, I really should have ate. But, yeah. I just forgot what it was. That's my memory. But, yeah. Sundar Lucky, I love playing him. He's the best. Any inspiration for starting your channel? I mean, what was your inspiration for starting a channel? And any tips for someone who wants to start? Shut up, stomach. I'm trying to do stuff. I don't think I've necessarily talked about it at length, but basically how I started out was, I remember it specifically. When I had heard about ASMR and stuff like that, audio's voice acting, but I didn't really know about it, you know? Like I had watched a video where somebody was doing something with a microphone. Like I had heard about it, but I'd never really watched it or listened to it, you know, or got into it, you know? But it was around like spring, like March, April of 2017. I was just, you know, chilling one night, laying in bed, and as you do, I'm just scrolling through ASMR, or not ASMR stuff, but YouTube, and all of a sudden I saw a YouTube video, and it was weird. It was like Southern Clerk Checks You In by GB ASMR. And I was like, what the heck is this? So I clicked on it, listened to it, and I was like, whoa, this is interesting. And I started watching it, and I was like, this is actually kind of cool. And that's when I was first exposed to it. And ever since then, I had started watching those, you know, from spring to summer to fall. You know, over the course of the year, I started watching that stuff, and I really got into it. You know, some of the people I saw that inspired me were obviously GB, Cardlin, Cabin in the Woods, Vixie Voice, Honey Flavored Audio, Sarah's Serenity and Sleep, Kiara ASMR, and by far the biggest one that had an impact on me was Teacup Audio. I started watching her and immediately got hooked. I was like, this chick is absolutely incredible. She is amazing. She is by far the best voice actor I've ever heard. You know, she was amazing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this chick is fantastic. And I've been a huge fan of her ever since, you know. I absolutely love her work. I constantly listen to it. I'm glad she's doing stuff on YouTube and Patreon and all that stuff. I'm glad she's doing, you know, voice work, because she's amazing. I would kill, not actually, but I would love to do a collaboration with her someday, but I know that's never going to happen. But I'd love to work with her someday on some kind of project, because she's, you know, really, she is the inspiration for my channel. I'm not kidding you. She is as important to this channel as anything else, you know. She really, really helped me kind of like, hey, this is what a good voice actor is like. This is what you can kind of get inspired by and learn from. So she was really the big impact for me, you know, the big inspiration. But it was just like one day in like November, you know, fall in November, I was just home alone with Charlie. I was just chilling on the couch. You know, nobody else was at home. Everybody was at work and stuff. And I was just like, I'm bored. And I was like, I saw like ASMR. I was like, that would be kind of fun to do one of those sometime. And whatnot. Because, you know, my entire life, ever since I was a kid, I always did impressions and accents and stuff. And my family was like, hey, you ought to do something like that someday. And, you know, I was like, well, my family said, like, I should do something. And I really like ASMR, and I'm bored as heck right now. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Sure. I will do a thing. So I went, got my phone, literally just my crappy, like, iPhone 5 or whatever, and iPhone 5 or 6, I can't remember what it is, but my crappy iPhone, I just recorded that original audio, you know, waking up in bed next to you, and dropped that, and holy crap. And, you know, rest is history. Pun intended, but also, like, genuinely, like, I just got lucky. I really did. Pun obviously intended, like you said, but no, I just got lucky when it came to this. I really did. I had no intention of becoming an ASMR channel or taking this up as a job. I literally was just bored one day and wanted something to do to pass the time. So I made that video, and ever since, you know, rest is history. And I posted it, and people started watching and liking and commenting and subscribing, and, you know, it went to a couple dozen views to a couple hundred, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Then it got into the thousands, and that's when I was like, okay, whoa, this is getting nuts. And then I got into the tens of thousands, and then, crazy enough, hundreds of thousands. I still cannot believe that. Every time I go back and look at the analytics for my channel, I look at, like, my highest viewed videos, and they're, like, into the hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I think my highest video was the bad boy one. Not bad luck, but it was, like, a jealous bad boy. It's, like, 300... over 300,000 views. I literally saw that and almost had a heart attack. I almost dropped dead. I was like, you have got to be kidding. That is not real. So, like, I really am, you know, thankful for all this, you know. I really did just get lucky. I never intended for doing this for a career or anything like this. But, you know, people were like, they really started to like this, and they were like, you need to do stuff. And, you know, I just did this stuff for fun, but then people were like, hey, I just want to say thank you. Like, you're helping me out, and you're doing all this nice stuff, and you're, you know, this is really helping my anxiety out, my depression. You're making me laugh. You're changing my life. And I was like, wow, this really has reach. You know, I was, like, surprised at, like, how much reach I had from people all across the world and whatnot. And they were like, thank you, man. Like, really, you helped me out. You're changing my life. And that's when I was like, that's the reason why I got to do this. People need help, you know. People need a little pick-me-up, you know, a little something to laugh at and sit down and enjoy. So I was like, make this into a career, dude. You got something special here. Don't waste it. And I hit the ground running and never stopped. And I really want to make this into my career. So, yeah, that's kind of the story of how I came to be, really. Tips for people who want to start out. I think I'll give a couple tips here, but I actually want to make a video on that, like a how-to ASMR. If you all would like me to do that, I totally will, because I have been actually, like, interested in that, because I know a lot of people actually ask, like, hey, I want to kind of get into this, can you help me out? You know, by the way, I think I'm actually going to start doing, like, once a week, I'll pick, like, a channel, like a channel I really like and whatnot, their work, and I'll do, like a shout-out, and you'll be like, hey, go subscribe to them. They're amazing. You know, so I want to start picking out channels, like, that I really enjoy and like, and I'm like, go sub to them, you know. So, yeah. Tips-wise, I would say it doesn't really matter, like, equipment-wise when you originally start out. Just, like, get your phone and just record something. If you want, you can write down a script. If you want to just do improv, you can. I do improv. Basically, like, 90% like 99% of my videos, 99 to 95, are purely improv. Like 5%, every once in a while I'll write a script, or somebody will give me a script and I'll do it, or I'll get into a collaboration with someone. Other than that, I do everything improv because I like it. It feels more natural, realistic, and it's just a lot more fun, I feel. You know? But, yeah, do a script if you want. If you don't, you can do it improv. Sit down, maybe, you know, get like a notepad, write down a couple ideas, brainstorm a bit, and just like get your phone and record, you know, and just post stuff. Put out hashtags, draw your own like channel art, you know, stuff like that. Really, it's just when you start out, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, literally, I started out just with my iPhone in a dream. Honestly, like, so you don't have to be fancy. That stuff comes later. When you start getting bigger and whatnot, then, you know, you can start buying equipment, you know. Once you start getting big, I recommend putting up like a Patreon and stuff like that. Trying to make some money off it any way you can, because you want to use that growth. Because, like, when your channel starts blowing up, that's when everything's hot, you know. That's when you gotta jump on it. So I would recommend doing that, you know. Sorry, my throat. But no, I recommend doing that. And just have fun with it. Talk to your fans. I would say that's a huge thing. That's the number one, I would say, in my book, is always talk to your community, get in touch with them, converse with them, hang out, talk, you know, comment them back, you know, talk to them. Your community is a big part. So I would say work on your community, get in touch with them, you know, talk to them. That's a big deal, community-wise. So, yeah, I'd say those are some tips, some quick tips just starting out. And I'll do, like, a full video where I genuinely cover this stuff, because I want to do that right, you know. So, yeah, but, let's see some more. I was originally going to make this a 1-hour podcast, but I kind of actually want to just, I really do want to keep going, so I might as well just for the heck of it. Do I watch streamers? Not really. I'm not a big, like, stream watcher guy. Like, every once in a while on YouTube, I'll, like, catch somebody doing a stream, and it'll be like, hey, it's me. How you doing? Love your work. What you playing? What you doing? You know, like, I'll pop in. But other than that, no. I stream games. I stream, but I don't really watch a whole lot of streaming other people, you know. That's you know, it's just not my thing, I guess. Favorite video game. Favorite video game ever made is The Last of Us, the original. That game I played late 2019, and that was an emotional roller coaster, because I play that game every couple of years. That's one of those must-play games, I would say. It's my favorite game ever made. It's easily one of the greatest games ever made. So I played through that about a year or so back, and went on an emotional roller coaster again, because I love that game to death. I can play that game every single time and always be satisfied and have fun. It's just perfection. Plus, it's a road trip game. I love road trip stuff. I love road trip shows, movies, games, anime, you name it. I am all for road trip stuff. Which, by the way, I'm actually thinking about doing a road trip, like, ASMR series. You know, like a really cool one. Like, I really, really want to do that. So if anybody wants to see something like that, I can. Because I have actually a really cool, like, 4-part idea for it. Where it's like, something like the listener needs to, you know, drive from this way halfway across the country, you know, from this end of the country to the other end. and whatnot, and it's kind of a journey where, like, I'm the driver or whatever. It's like, say for example, like, it's just me and the friend. It's like a friends to lovers thing. In each episode, they slowly start to grow more and more together and whatnot. Then eventually, when they reach the end, you know, they'll, like, fall in love. I kind of want to do something like that, I would say. I think that's a pretty good idea. But if you don't want to see that, that's alright. I actually kind of wanted to make it, like, an hour-long one. Where it's literally just, like, me, you know, driving. Where it's kind of realistic-ish. Where it's, like, I'm actually, like, spending time driving. Not, like, in real life. Heck no. But I mean, like... So it actually feels like I'm driving a car and you're in the passenger, you know, authentic-ish. I'm drinking tea right now. Okay. Final question. Did you know that you're an amazingly awesome, talented person? No. No, I'm not really that talented. I'm just a guy who got lucky. Pun intended. But genuinely, like I've said, like, I just got lucky. I was at the right place at the right time. And just got lucky, honestly. So, but thank you, though. I don't really think of myself as the greatest guy in the world. You know, I'm not an egotistical guy. I always stay humble. So, will you make another Yandere Lucky or Yandere Listener? Yeah, I will. I definitely will. 100%. You know, actually, I think I have a series coming up sometime soon. I know that's a fan favorite of mine, so definitely. But, yeah, I think that's it for today's podcast. Wow, I did not expect it to be this long. I went like well over an hour at this point, probably, but, well, you know, yeah, so, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for listening. If you want more episodes, if this does well, I would like to do this because I really like kind of this long, like, sit down kind of video where I just sit down and talk and whatnot. I really like this, honestly. So if this does well and people want to see more of it, you know, yeah, go ahead. Let me know, because I would genuinely like this. I assume that people would probably would die to just watch me just talk about stuff for well over an hour. This actually reminds me, this will be the longest video I've ever published. This is crazy. But yeah, this is the Knights of Lucky podcast, starring me, Lucky. But yeah, also, if anybody, any other voice actors and ASMR YouTubers and stuff, if you want to come on the podcast and chat with me and talk, and I can interview you and we can just chill and chat, you know, hit me up. I'd like to know. I'd like to have you on the podcast. By the way, at some point, I gotta get Charlie. Hold on. Stay here. Just, imagine there's some elevator music going on right now. Hold on. Good dog. Hey, no, that's no eating my socks, okay? Alright, you can And sit down. Alrighty. Okay, sit. Down. Down. Lay down. Come on. Down. Okay, it wouldn't be... I have to christen this podcast by getting Charlie here. So, Mr. Charlie, how you doing? Good doggo. Are you a good boy? You a good puppy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good Charlie? You a good boy? Yeah. Belly rub? Belly rub? Who's a wagging his tail? Huh? Belly rub? Belly rub? You want me to rub your belly? Roll over. Oh, here, roll over this way. Alright, I'll rub your belly. Good boy. Yeah. Yeah, you're a good dog. How about a treat? Want a treat? Here. Stay. You just stay here. I'll get you Doritos. You still like those things? Stay. Okay. Yes, I'm doing this all for comedic value. I know. I know. I, Lucky ASMR, now anoint this podcast. I protect it by now christening this podcast with a Dorito. Alright, shake my hand. Okay, don't hit my thing. Shake. Good dog. Alright. Ready? Alright. Oh, yeah. I wonder how much money I could make just making videos of my dog just chewing food. Yeah. How do you feel about those Doritos, buddy? Yeah, I know you like them. Here, I'll have one. Good. Alrighty. This podcast is now officially started. And I want to thank you all for bringing me on this journey. Me and Charlie starting out our own podcast, huh? How's that feel, buddy? Yeah? Who's a good puppy? Oh, yeah, you're a good dog. You shoot. You good boy? Say goodbye to everyone. That sniffing is goodbye. Anywho, here, I'll give you another treat. Here, have another chip. Anywho, thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Knights of Lucky podcast. This will be coming out weekly, every week on a Saturday on YouTube. And if I can, I will release it on early access for Patreon donors. By the way, my Patreon link will be in the, description below. If you would like to check out my content or donate, you can do that. If you don't want to donate, totally fine. If you can't, it's totally fine. It's just there for people who want to. But, anywho, I think... Oh my god, Charlie! Where's my phone? Oh, crap. Ah, dang it. He looked really cute. Oh, well. Yeah, you look cute, don't you? He looked adorable. Anywho. Good dog. You're a good boy. Anywho, thank you all. I'll see you on Tuesday on Patreon, where I will release some stuff. And on Thursday, I'll release a new audio. So, thank you all for watching. Take care, and I love you. Peace. Boop.